Hey, how we doing? This is Blake Sherwood, realtor with Compass and team lead of Sherwood and Company. Figured it'd be a good time to talk about the market for buyers and my thoughts about it. So I think it's a great opportunity right now for buyers. I think unprecedented in recent years, the opportunity for buyers to actually get offers accepted for terms that they actually want. So the first thing leading to this is the high rates, kind of the craziness going on in the world, has made a lot of buyers either decrease their price point or just take a step back in general from the market. Now, for the buyers that are willing to purchase in this market, that's a great opportunity. There's less demand, even if we have low inventory right now, which is true. Leads to potentially less competition, and that leads to being able to actually get offers accepted with inspections, finance contingencies, appraisal in place, which is a good thing. Now, the next thing that's happening is we're starting to see some days on market go up. And this isn't in every community, but there are properties where the listing agent has potentially overlisted it, pricing the properties maybe 90, 180 days ago of comps, and those prices just aren't working for buyers in this market. So as those up on market, days on market go up, that gives the buyer more leverage. Kind of the same thing as there being less buyers in the market, having longer days on market gives the buyer leverage. And as a buyer's agent, that's what we're looking for. That allows us to get all of the contingencies that bring down the risk for the buyer and get prices negotiated down, which is good for buyers. Next thing that I want to talk about is seasonality. So in a lot of markets, there's seasonality. In Greater Boston, we have seasonality based on winter um, and vacations in the summer. So generally, we see inventory start to go up based on when the snow starts to melt, sometime late February, early March, late March if it's a really high snow year. Now, that kind of leads to after 4th of July, maybe a week or two after 4th of July, and then people start going on summer vacations. And when people start going on summer vacations, they tend to not look at as many properties. So generally, there's a little bit of a slump in the summer until late August. Late August happens, where everybody's on vacation. Then after Labor Day, we see a bump up in competition, a bump up in activity until right around where we are now, where people are starting to think about Thanksgiving and all the holidays in December, and the New Year. So right now, there's an opportunity for those days on market. It's also an opportunity for people that maybe have just have come on market, aren't getting those offers in the first couple of weeks, and are seeing those holidays on the horizon, and may want to get out of the property before the holidays so they don't have to take it off market and come back in the spring. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is kind of financing opportunities to mitigate the high rate environment we're in. There's no sugarcoating it. 8% is, terrible comparatively to the last, couple decades of low rates. Um, and that's one of the reasons why buyers are hesitant to get into the market. So there's a couple things that can be done. Talking with your lender is going to give you all kinds of options, but one of the big options that have been pitched and being used a lot are buy downs. So there's 2-1 buy downs, 3-2-1 buy downs. These are good opportunities to mitigate the risk of having to pay high interest for a long time. Um, Most people in the industry believe that rates are going to come down at some point. They probably won't be as significantly, we're probably never going to see rates like we did in 21 and 20, but seeing mid fives, high fives is likely in the next few years. So the rate buy downs allows you to pay upfront that extra that you would be paying, or that additional, for the first year and the second year. Um, so you're bringing the rate down 2 points for the first year if it's an 8%. Now it's down to a 6%, and then for the second year, and this is for a 2-1 buy down, you're bringing down 1 point. So say it's an 8%, it goes down to a 7%. So if that additional interest is put into an escrow account, your monthly payments are based on the 6% or 7% for the years that corresponding with those rate decreases. and the additional is taken out of the escrow account. Now, you might be asking, well, I'm going to pay that in the end anyways. Why would I do it this way without just paying the monthly payment like it was an 8% rate? The reason is that money that's in the escrow can be used towards closing costs or paid back to you if you were to refinance in that time period. Now, that's great because you're paying less per month, even though it's getting pulled out. And then the additional that you aren't going to use is being able to be used for the refinance on closing costs, um, or paid back to you, which is great to know that there's the ability to get back potentially some of the interest that you would be paying at the high rate. The 3-2-1 works the same way. Instead of 2% lower the first year, it's 3% lower the first year, 2% lower the second year, 1% lower the third year. Now, of course, you want to have a conversation with your lender about all of this. I'm not a lender. I'm just giving some advice on what buyers I'm working with have worked for them. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is buying a property now versus waiting until mortgage rates are lower. Because there's a lot of buyers in that ship as well, or sellers who are deciding, why would I sell my property at a really low interest rate when I'm going to be purchasing and my payment's going to be significantly more for potentially even a lower mortgage than I currently have. So my pitch for that is, right now, with competition lower because of those rates, we're able to get offers accepted with good terms and negotiate prices. Once we start seeing those rates coming down, which generally in election years you start to see a little bit of a rate decrease regardless, every point there's data saying 500,000 to a million new buyers will enter the market. So if it's at 8% and it goes down to 7, that's 500,000 to a million new buyers entering the market. If it goes down to 6%, now you got a million to 2 million more buyers in the market. So with low inventory anyways, and that potential of new buyers coming into the market when rates do decrease, it's hard to not imagine prices going up fairly significantly, even if it's 1 or 2 or 3%. At the prices these days, 500,000 is a starter home. $1 million is kind of the average for the second home, and then you have up into the 2+ million for affluent urban areas close to the city. That 1, 2, 3% far significantly outweighs the extra in interest you may pay by buying now versus waiting until those interest rates are lower. So, in my opinion, right now is a fantastic time to buy if you can find the property you want. If you're going to wait a few years, that's rent that could be going into a mortgage. Renting is 100% interest, so 8% isn't bad. If you're comparing your mortgage to credit cards are 29, 30% right now. So 8% in perspective isn't terrible. So love to talk to you more about buying in the next few months. I think it's a great opportunity, and I hope you enjoyed the video.